Derivatives trading involves substantial risk loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I have to go because I put my water bottle in a weird spot. Well, anyways, we have had an interesting move overnight. Let me pull up chat here really quick. So, to the chart. You can see Treasuries a pretty significant and strong overnight push down. We were getting pretty bracketed over the past week, especially here in this, 130.07. 07.5 is kind of where I was looking at, but this whole area here, a lot of volume. And now we're significantly lower. They did not get this naked point of control down here at 129.17, which I find curious, but a significant down move. I don't really see. I'm wondering, did anybody say anything? Japanese bond crash, margin call sends shockwaves around the globe. Maybe Bank of Japan has changed its purchase plan, cuts long end buying to steepen the curve. Okay, so this is because of Japanese stuff. We'll double check that. When you look at equities didn't really move. A little tiny move up. Well, could it be Japanese? Well, they did move. The yen did move down. There's looks like there's some Brexit stuff going on. I can see the British pound moving. 6E. Kind of a little bit of the same as well, up a little bit. Gold moved, but not as significantly. I mean, that move in the 6J doesn't look as huge to me, but maybe. Seems like a reasonable explanation. Now, the issue is it's the first day of the month, so that kind of could put a few wrenches in. No, that's the wrong window. Let's make sure that the date is working. I don't think I have changed the date. It is October 1st. Right? 01 October. 1st of October. It would appear the anti-Brexit Remain alliance is fraying. Shadow Chancellor John MacDonald says it is unlikely opposition parties will bring a vote of no confidence until after the European Council meeting on the 17th of October. Remember, without any other changes, they leave October 31st. So. We'll pull this up. We have moved down since the open, but it's not a ton of volume. So I'm a little hesitant to be putting on risk here. I'm a little hesitant. What do we have in terms of news going on here? Well, we have some FOMC members speaking, so that definitely would explain that. What was Canadian GDP? Was spot one versus an expected... No. Refresh. Canadian GDP was... I'm not getting the number yet. Oh, it's not. It's 625. What am I doing? I'm crazy. You know what? I didn't sleep very well last night. But we have some FOMC members speaking today. Also, manufacturing PMI. ISM. The top of the hour. Yeah, it doesn't look like the best, most fertile trading ground at the moment. So let's just kind of wait and see. Maybe we'll get some good opportunities later. Also, when the E-mini, when we get to the time to take a trade in the E-mini, maybe the E-mini will move because, they didn't really move very far overnight and the interest rates have changed. Donald Trump up early tweeting. Oh, he tweeted to try to impeach this picture. The congratulatory phone call with the Ukrainian president was perfect, unless you heard little Adam's just fraudulently made up version of the call. This is just another fake news media, together with their partner, the Democrat Party, I hoax. Says Donald Trump. Well, 10-year is giving a possible pivot, but I'm not getting a correlated signal. Also, the liquidity is still a little disappointing.
YouTube Uzi Knesset morning.
Hey, good morning, Uzi. Did you fix your basement or your water main? Everything's good now? 5 years saying maybe they turn here. That move down was a little too fast. I mean, they came down through here. 25. I don't think that 25 traded more than once. Oh, maybe it did.
YouTube Uzi Knesset. Yepper's grinning face with big eyes.
Yeah, I can't. That was a little too far of a move there. Kind of came out of nowhere. But the 5 year is pushing, so might flip. As Democrats say, secret grand jury information gathered by Robert Mueller is needed for their impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump and may show the president lied to the special counsel. So, how does that one work out legally? I think that you still say that they haven't opened a formal impeachment query, and until the House of Representatives votes on it, they can't have that information. In fact, I suspect you might even be able to say, I'm not a lawyer. This is like way beyond my understanding, but I'm wondering if just doing an impeachment inquiry is enough, or is if you have to actually file articles of impeachment. Like, how would the courts decide that? Well, I hope they push it so that we find out. I think it's always good to find out these sorts of things. The whole thing is kind of, it's kind of funny. They're saying Donald Trump was trying to dig up dirt for the election, but it kind of seems to me like that's what this impeachment is turning into, isn't it? Let's dig and see what kind of dirt we can dig up about Donald Trump through endless investigations. And of course, they couldn't get what they wanted through regular courts because of executive privilege, so let's just impeach him and then we can receive everything. But can they say that the federal grand jury testimony is relevant to the thing that they're doing? That would be another part. Ooh, it would be an interesting court case. Okay, so there's another little tiny step further. Let's see what we can get here. Just a little sim order. Well, I would have much rather have done it at 23.5 in retrospect. There's a decent amount stacked at 23 that's not pulling away. They're not immediately hitting that 200 though. Okay. E-mini is kind of moving a bit too right now. Curious action for this early in the E-mini. Canadian GDP was 0 versus the estimated spot 1. Am I reading that right?
YouTube, Algo Lover, GM winking face.
Good morning, Algo Lover. We finally broke your downside level, didn't we? There, they finally ticked up.
YouTube, Algo Lover. Well, they finally resolved this. Thursday, ZN range 130, 140 on the upside or 129, 235 on the downside. Ping pong until one goes. Face with rolling eyes.
Why would you give me a face with rolling eyes? Like, it stayed in a range for like 5 days. So like, yeah, duh, it's bracketed. Hmm. Well, it's a little better. Clearly, my position could have been a little
YouTube,
more
Algo
efficient.
Lover. Lag crying face.
Oh, yeah. Well, the action that I'm seeing right now could still flip, but it's being a little flaky right now. And it may be the case that they like this price. I don't know. Okay, well, so my price finally goes bid. So will we see some people stopping out now? I don't, for some reason, I don't feel incredibly confident about this one. Even though it's a pretty clear, I don't really know any other way to read this one. There's a clear signal. We had such a strong move down. The indicator would be up. I guess part of it was that I just didn't get a very good entry. Okay, so they are trading into 25 now. Now the question becomes how much can they move up? Because it might only be like a 4-tick pullback sort of a thing, you know? Hmm. They tried to tick up, but it didn't clear. They moved the liquidity, but he didn't keep it there. It's a little weird. Okay. So it's gonna be one of them days, huh? Okay. Well, the meta going on with these big orders is kind of interesting because at first it was like um, you went with them and you did pretty well. And then we had a couple of times where it failed, and it seems to me that since then it's been failing every time. And that time, he put a big order there, and it didn't take very many orders at all to get him to pull. But if they tick down again, he may just show back up. I'm gonna get out. So I think what just happened there says that we're a little bit constrained. So we'll see if it works out or not. Let's see there, they took it offer. So far I'm glad I did that. Now if they take 23 half, it might show up back. Might show up again.
YouTube, Swissio, Seth, you become more and more the indicator trader face screaming in fear.
I think so. Well, the thing is, I don't think. Do you understand what the indicator that I'm looking at is?
YouTube, Algo Lover, ZN anticipated a bounce up into at least 129, 305, in search of sellers or not thinking face a hold targets 129, 160 nerd face.
129.30 half. And they made it up to 29. Um, yeah, I posted that video yesterday about technical analysis, basically saying that technical analysis doesn't work. And it was kind of interesting to see some people's responses because a lot of people were like, well, technical analysis totally works. And here's all of the things that I do. And when you look at some of the things that they were talking about, a lot of it was volume. And my kind of take is that if you're looking at like current volume that's trading like right now as part of your signal for entry, you're not doing technical analysis. I think that a volumetric analysis of the current situation is order flow and is different. Uh, Technical analysis would be anything historical and based primarily on price. Something happened, like for instance, if I saw a huge order trade in a certain spot, like there he is back up again now.
YouTube, Algo Lover, right, but they did find sellers, so target still valid. Okay hand.
Yeah, I had a good trade there, the long, and it failed, and I think it did the right thing. Okay, so interesting at 22. But anyways, I totally have been relying on this indicator as of late. But this indicator is telling me something
YouTube,
about level
Uzi
2.
Knesset, big sell bet taken at 61 in ZB. YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Many confused people. Traditional TA is patterns, not indicators.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, an indicator can show you anything. So you can't sit down and say just because
YouTube,
it's,
Uzi
yeah.
Knesset. Downside target at 60.15.
Because the definition of technical analysis that I see a lot of people using is
YouTube, Algo Lover, 8:07 a.m. Algo Lover, S. If buyers hold their pullback above 2,975.50, then 3,000 target. If 2,975.50 breaks first, then anticipate a deeper pullback nerd face.
excuse me. The definition that I've been seeing people use is basically any kind of analysis that isn't based on the fundamentals of the underlying instrument, which I think is nonsense. I think that technical analysis is very intrinsically connected to the efficient market hypothesis, which is that the um, hypothesis that the market is efficient and that all available information has been priced into the stock and can be seen through the movement. And so the whole thing is that you can look at the past behavior to predict probabilities about what it's going to do in the future. And I say nonsense. I say nonsense. You have to be able to see the volume. And while there might be some statistical tendencies that you can pull out of it, ultimately, those on an individual basis are going to be unreliable, unlikely to give you edge, and you always need to have some sort of volume and level 2 support to it to determine when the pattern is working out or doing its thing. That's my position. And so it was interesting, a lot of the people that came in and said, well, I'm doing well and I'm using technical analysis. And then when I look at it, I'm like, that doesn't look like technical analysis to me. That looks like you're using volume. Like, especially there was one guy that posted in the thread that he said that he was doing really like the results that he was getting. You'd got to be a little skeptical about it. I mean, I would like to see him prove it, but I'm not gonna like get mad at him or anything. But I would like to see him prove it. That would be. I think a lot of people would really like to know that, right? Because the results that he claimed were unreal. But the kind of trade that he was describing, it was a volume thing. He was like, it moved up on little volume, and so I took it short. That's like the most simple kind of order flow trade you can take, right? But what I do, that little indicator there at the
YouTube,
bottom.
Swissio. When I look at your opening videos, it's a clear difference to see how you've traded now. What do you need it for? If the information comes from level 2.
Okay, so
YouTube, Pedro Garcia. October is here. Let's see a crash.
so
YouTube, Algo Lover. Are we rolling with fair dice? If so, does the house have an edge? Thinking face.
it's not fair dice. Totally not. Let's get to that in a second. I want to answer Swisso's question because I haven't heard from him in a while. And you're right, it is different. So towards the end of the summer, like August, we started looking at this new tool that I had developed. And we did a good 2 weeks of forward testing it
YouTube, Algo Lover. Face with tears of joy, smiling face with sunglasses.
to figure out what its behavior was. That histogram that you see underneath of my charts is basically, it tells me about level 2 orders being placed. So you could totally see this kind of information on the DOM, but my observation is that I normally don't see it. I can kind of see it, but when I put it in that histogram, it makes it so obvious. So a good example here, what it tends to do, here they're pushing it. So when they push it, especially if you're getting trend, they will tend to go through a little bit and reverse. That's the tendency. Happens about 60% of the time. But it's not like a a straight thing. It's kind of just like it gives you a spot. It gives you a spot, and then I still have to use my own discretion to determine is this a
YouTube,
continuation
algo
or a
lover,
reversal.
gotta run, HAGD. Thumbs up.
Okay, talk to you later, Algo Liver. So I don't know if that makes sense, Swisso. The original theory was if we watch large limit orders compared to all of the other limit orders, can we detect discrepancies and see situations in which the small traders are doing something and the large traders aren't going along with it? And it turns out you can. I've only seen it. I've only seen a significant divergence like once or twice though. They were really good trades though when they happened. The best thing about it though, I think, is that it kind of tells us how involved the large players are. We've had a pretty good move down, but the large players have been relatively quiet. I kind of suspect that this is still they're not putting as much risk on the table as you would expect for a strong move down like this because we've got Fed speakers and news and all that sort of
YouTube,
stuff.
Pedro Garcia. How big was the orders?
So the orders that I'm looking at in the 10-year are lots of 400 or more. The way that I determine that is I have a histogram that I've created. I will show you. Duplicate in new window is what we're going to do here. Okay. And we'll get rid of these level 2 change indicators. And we'll add the level 2 histogram. Level 2 stats.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia. YouTube, Pedro Garcia. I mean when the big guys stepped in.
Not quite sure. I think you might have misunderstood what I was saying. I forget what the difference between this one and the big one is. And 2 is. I don't think there is a difference. Well, we'll do the original one. Okay. All right. So every time that there is an order comes through, it updates this. There we go. So we should probably zoom it out a little bit. Okay. So can you see the way that it's developing? What is the most common order that gets put out there? It's a one lot. Positive ones are buys and negative ones are sells, right? So these are we're looking at limit orders, right? So you'll see there's this distribution, and as we go along, you'll see there will be a large spike in the distribution at around 400. It'll look like this eventually. At least last time that I did it, it'll look like this. Okay. So that tells us the big institutions that are using orders to try and control the market are using 400 lots. So I create have a column for them. This right here. Those are the bids. Those are the offers. Okay. You can see there's a difference in activity. There's more activity on the bids, but overall, both of them are relatively low activity still. And the bids being more kind of makes sense because we're moving down. So they're taking orders in here and then they're placing the bids down here. Yeah. What I'm looking for is a situation where a lot of people have placed orders, creates an imbalance, and the likelihood of of a reversal or a breakout.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, I'm new here. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I thought, I had you confused with somebody else. So, very good. Okay. Um, I'm thinking, you know what? Oh my gosh. I'm so conflicted about this thing. So here's the thing. I have some indicators. This one down here, I kind of want to keep to myself. Not gonna lie. I feel
YouTube,
like,
Pedro Garcia, I'm glad I stumbled onto you.
oh, thank you very much. Um, anyways, I want to I want to trade it for a while, make some money off of it, see where it goes. The other ones though, like the ones that I generate stats, like the histogram that I just showed you, um, or sorry, the distribution profile that I just showed you.
YouTube, Ace Trades, morning.
Oh, good morning, Ace. That's something that I think would be really useful to a lot of people. It's not necessarily giving up edge because you still have to know what to look for and how to interpret it and everything like that. It's just a tool. But
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, yes, keep it to yourself.
I feel like I could sell it, but I also feel like that if I did, that I would kind of almost be undermining the whole thing. Because the whole thing is not to be putting ourselves up as a guru and not to be trying to make the money off of, tricking people. The idea is just to trade and show people how you trade and then prove it by just doing it.
YouTube, Ace Trades, short signal 2988.00.
Okay. I might have to take that one. I'm not seeing like a huge
YouTube, Pedro
overextension,
Garcia,
but
yes, I agree.
yeah. And especially when we were talking like technical analysis yesterday, I was like, yeah, but if I start selling a bunch of indicators and trying to make money off of indicators, isn't that like undermine what I'm
YouTube,
saying?
Uzi Knesset, hey, I actually have a question for everyone.
Go ahead. They're not putting a lot of liquidity there at 29.8775. I'm not sure if I'm going to get filled. Maybe I should pay down? Oh, maybe.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the options pit closes for Treasury futures. What is it that they're doing that causes that, like specifically?
Um, the options pit closing. So the thing is you will
YouTube,
like.
Ace Trades, yeah, couldn't get filled.
Should I pay down? He didn't get filled either, huh? That's a little concerning to me. I was just thinking about this morning. When you're having a hard time getting
YouTube,
filled.
Uzi Knesset, all the volume back and forth, I mean.
Oh, right. When you're having a hard time getting filled, that to me is a signal that there's not as much money coming into the market. So trading might be a little bit harder, but we'll see. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so when you're an options trader, um, of course, there's a lot of different things that you can do, right? You can play all of the math about it and the probability of it moving
YouTube,
to an
Swissio,
area.
if you see a large order, there are only 3 ways you can trade them. Hit the order if it's not strong, run it front when it's strong, or you trade when it's broken in.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So it's been weird the way that the big orders have been trading.
YouTube, Swissio, when and where to trade.
Yeah.
YouTube, Swissio, new players come into the market. You do not need an indicator for that. And what the big players are planning anyway knows no indicator of the world. You just have to know how.
Yeah. And I'm kind of looking more for just the areas where there's a clear possibility for pivoting. Anyways, to the options thing, let me mute you guys for a second. So, when we think of options trader, most of us think of it from a small perspective of a retail trader, where you're like, okay, there's a good probability that it goes up and it touches this number, and the probability that it touches it is better than the probability that the options market is pricing in, and so I can take that trade. And that's the sort of the way that retail options traders think, right? But an institutional option trader is thinking almost purely from a market making perspective. And so they think, okay, well, there's a bunch of people are buying calls here for whatever reason. I don't want to sell calls, right? Because if I sell calls, then maybe there's a good chance that they're right, and then I'm liable for like unlimited losses if it goes the wrong way, right? Being the counterparty to that option is like a little scary. So you don't want to take an outright position like that, right? You're gonna hedge it somehow. So one of the biggest ways that they hedge it is they trade it with the futures. So you go in and you're trading the options, and then you hedge it with the future. That sizes up really, really quickly. So you end up in a situation where even a relatively, well, it would be a larger trader than us, but maybe they're only trading a couple $100,000 or a couple $1 million. They could still be trading thousands of contracts in the futures simply because of the way that they're hedged. So when you get the options pit close, they are basically what they're doing is they're closing out those positions for having held that they were using to hedge their options positions. And so you end up seeing this huge amount of volume at that options pit close. Does that answer the question? That's my understanding of it. So the key points there, though, is that the institutional option traders have to think like a market maker and have to hedge themselves. And they tend to close their positions at the close of the options. Cool. Okay, so let's go back here. So as was saying, if you see a large order, there are three ways you can trade them. Hit the order if it's not strong, front run it when it's strong, or you trade when it's broken and new players come into the market. You do not need an indicator for that. And what the big players are planning anyway knows no indicator of the world. You just have to know how. Yeah, you know what though, Swisso, I have not had, when the big orders like that first started showing back up again this past month, because for a long time we hadn't seen them, when they showed back up, originally I was doing really, real well with them. I was doing really well with them originally. This is taking too long, by the way, so I'm just going to cancel it. Originally, the market had low liquidity, and when those showed up, you just kind of went with it. If a big offer showed up at 23, I would just click into 22.5 and let it go for 8 ticks, and it worked out great for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, it started failing. This one that we had today was interesting because it showed up. They traded into him. He didn't take the fill. He pulled, but then they pulled up a tick and then they pushed down, and then he showed up when they pushed down a little bit more. That whole sequence of events is very interesting to me. But I have a hard time playing that sort of a thing, What I'm kind of looking for is not necessarily the big order, but just a lot of orders being placed. Like if you think about it, that's probably an algorithm or a big trader trying to mess with the markets. But why would they do that in the first place? Well, at some point, before all of the algorithms came along, that meant something. A lot of people taking trades in one spot, that meant something, and so you can kind of interpret it from that. If we came down into, and that's one of the places where I kind of start to look at it is like, if I get a big spike here, like we had in the 30-year down here at the bottom, is probably a really good example. Okay. There was a lot of orders being placed in the 30-year there, but was there actually a lot of volume? Well, there wasn't a big change in cumulative delta. So you have a situation where, for whatever reason, a lot of people wanted to take orders. Now, I've noticed for some reason that the number of buys and sells actually tend to be equal. That you put on the limit, they tend to be equal, which is kind of interesting. That maybe that suggests that it is mostly algorithms, but I interpret that as people were trying to put orders out there, but nobody was getting filled. So they're trapped. They're trapped. And if it starts moving back up, they're going to get stopped out. And that, you know, pretty clearly what happened. You could have made 4 ticks off of it in the 30 year. I didn't get it over here in the 10 year. I was a little, you know what? When I get this sort of a thing where there's like a gap and that sort of a thing, that's action that I tend to stay out of. So probably wouldn't have taken that in either way. Ordinary Bitcoin merchant pure passing by technical analysis goes way over my head. Well, we're not doing technical analysis though. Everything that we're looking at is level 2. It's like now we're looking at volume and level 2 things that are happening now. There's nothing historical about it, so it's not technical analysis. Is my position, and we were just talking about that, Sorky, because I have a YouTube channel. Most of my viewers are on YouTube, and we had a video yesterday about why technical analysis doesn't work. That was a little controversial. You know what was kind of interesting about that though? Was all of you guys, most of our order flow trading friends.
YouTube Ace Trades. Dang it, that would have been a good fill.
Yeah. If it had filled, it would have been a good trade, wouldn't it? All you guys were totally good with it. But then like I posted it on like the Facebook groups and stuff.
YouTube Ace Trades. There will be another setup.
Okay. Wait, when we posted on like the Facebook groups and stuff, that was where the place where they were like, well, technical analysis totally works for me. And then I'm like, you know, I didn't want to push it and get too aggressive
YouTube,
with anybody.
Pedro Garcia. What do you think about wick theory?
Wick theory. That sounds like another form of technical analysis. So I would recommend going to the YouTube channel and finding that video. But the main gist here is any one individual technical analysis theory that you have, if you can go back and you can find some historical testing on it that proves that there's a tendency, then by all means go with it. But don't just take it blindly. Always look for order flow confirming the trade. So when you get those two things in concert together is when you tend to get really good moves.
At Pedro Garcia, I think it is important to keep your wick dry. Don't dip your wick.
Oh, Ace. By the way, Ace, I did send you my number on Facebook. So you text me because I could meet up today if you want. My wife is actually out of town, so I'm like totally open. And Tuesday is my non-gym day, so Tuesday would be the best day to do something. Anyways, I've never seen any kind of like statistical analysis of wicks. That would be pretty. It wouldn't be impossible, but it would be a little bit more difficult than normal.
YouTube Pedro Garcia.
Oh, okay, he sent it back.
YouTube Ace Trades. Yup, sent my number back.
Okay, cool.
Twitch, Sokibriggs, local Bitcoins doing this tier 1, 2, 3 verifications freaked a lot of merchants out with their suspension of accounts not verified by the 1st of October.
I'm not familiar with that. There's certainly been a lot of interesting Bitcoin action though lately, hasn't there? Wow. Impossible to know where they're going right now though. So the situation that on its own I have struggled with a lot. By the way, they're giving me a turn here. Is this pullback?
YouTube Ace Trades, breakfast calls.
All right, good deal. Whenever we have a low and then it comes back up, is it going to do a lower high and push down for a lower low or not? this is kind of like the big question sort of a thing, and everybody has these theories about higher highs and higher lows, but like everything that I back tested, I've never been able to find probabilities on those. It was anything more than random. But I am getting a signal here
YouTube,
in the
Pedro
10-year.
Garcia, it's going down to 3,000 for bit.
Bitcoin, you think? Now, for Bitcoin, I have a chart that I post every day on the Patreon. If you look in the video description, there's a link. Now, that is not technical analysis either. That is based on fundamentals. So it is a it's a mathematical analysis of fundamentals in Bitcoin, specifically blockchain transactions. And that's had a pretty good historical track record. You can go and you can look at that. And
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, Yeep.
yeah, there you go. And that chart tends to support your price, Pedro. It says that we could go down to at least 3,000. Like that would be the
YouTube,
low end of
Pedro
value
Garcia,
right now.
no sound, brother.
No sound, brother. Can you not hear me anymore? No, I think it should be fine. They were kind of taking it there at 24, but it didn't
YouTube,
go.
Pedro Garcia, no sound.
Try refreshing. I'll type a message. You could try refreshing.
YouTube, Ace Trace,
Yeah, he
I've
says
got
he's got sound. See. Yeah. Well, I can just look at the OBS and I can see that it's fine. Yeah, but it seems to the number it's giving as the low end of value is around 3,500 right now. Although if we really push down there and depending on how quickly we go, it could go a lot lower than that. Because that number is a little bit inflated because of the manipulative bull run that we've had. Okay, so they're hitting into it offer, but it's not really going. Oh, so the E-mini came back up, so that trade in ES that
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, these ads are matting.
yeah, that trade that he made was good, but he would have had to have gotten out. Didn't go for very far. These ads are maddening. You know what's really maybe you're talking about the YouTube ads. That's not happy. Something that's really annoying about the YouTube ads is that if you're using a web browser like Brave, then YouTube doesn't have the cookies to see that you actually watched the ad. So it'll be like you'll watch the ad and then the video that you wanted to watch doesn't actually load up. Oh my gosh, so annoying. Or like I was watching a Graham Stephan video yesterday and they add like 3 or 4 ads in the middle of the video and he sticks it right in where like he's about to go into a new subject and then ad. Oh, so annoying. Like screw you, Graham. Graham, you're just playing everybody. It was a video about trading, why most traders fail, which was it was an okay video, but I think we could do better. I was actually thinking about doing a video about that, but maybe I'll wait a little bit now because he's put that video out. Well, we ticked up, so it appears to me.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, Seth, did you check the link to the 80 lot guy?
I did not. Did he post the link? Yeah, I think that we've got to get out here. That signal failed us. In fact, let's try going with the order, huh? Wow. It's not just going.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, OMG, it's a classic.
It's a classic. Oh dear. That probably means it's not good, huh? Well, it's coming up now. Is the E-mini going to take a hit here?
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, he's fake.
He's fake? I mean, you would suspect so, huh? Where is he? That was Clarence Oliver, right? I have to ask though why you had to teach sales funnels and such if you had such success trading since 2008. Oh, so he has stuff on his YouTube, huh? That's what the deal is. Uh-huh. Oh, look at that. I guess they want to buy it. Well, it's rare that my signal fails that hard. I actually think I want this one right here. If I could just take the easy one. So I don't really want to have two contracts on. Especially this time of day. This is actually really odd. I'll have to go and comment on that a little bit later. There's a really good engagement on that post, though. Let's just check the stats overnight. Come on, buy it. You're gonna leave me hanging here again, aren't we? Definitely some changes in the market today, isn't there? Saudi Arabia gives green light for talks with Iran. Iraqi prime minister is mediating between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Tick up. Okay, maybe 500 holding. Oh, there you go. That's a little better. Just a few more. Come on.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, Grady talks about free looks, OMG. They've been few and far between.
You know what I think he's talking about when he says free looks, though, is I think he's talking about the level break. They totally still exist. It's just you have to be so fast because, you know, if you sit there and kind of wait for it to, you know, do its thing, and then you let it come all the way back on you. Okay. You know, it's just like here at this spot.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Yes, it has to be more of an impulse move.
You can buy 26.5, and then if it fails, you sell back into it like right there. But you have to be quick about it, right? This probably isn't like a super great spot to be testing that, but I can hold it because I've got a good spot within the range. They're zippering between 26 and 27, and I bought 26. So it's going to be hard to get filled on this side. And we got filled at 25.5. George Soros responds to Giuliani's ranting. What? George Soros responds? That's a headline I've never seen before. Zuckerberg vowed to fight
YouTube,
efforts to break up
Swissio,
Facebook and
sec you
leaked
have bought
audio.
where others already want out.
I think, well, I think you may be right, Swisso. Because I don't completely understand what's going on. Like, it's a little bit of a different thing that's going on here. And that first order when I got out was hard. You can see that. But it was also the move up there, like from 25 to 26, was pretty aggressive. It was pretty aggressive. I did not see within this right up in here. I didn't see my signal though. So this was a different signal that I was taking. Um, but I'm not seeing it. We're probably going to get a spike here within the range, which is usually somebody saying enough. Let's move it out of here. Oh, that 5 years not helping. I'm a little concerned about it just because it's not my normal trade. Kind of feels like they're using big orders to move things, but they're not. They're not using it to make fundamental moves. They're just using it to push it up a tick or two. You know, and 5 years is not taking. Okay, that's a little better. How many ticks? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh dear. Oh dear. It'll be interesting if it pushes up through here, but that's another trade that I have is when it's been in an 11 tick zipper, it's likely to reverse. So I don't want to be long into this. I kind of think that this is going to be one of the 20% of the time that one fails, but let's see. Okay. Well, it touched it. So should I be buying back into it now? Well, I would probably have to do 28. I don't know about that one. The open is 28. Plus, the E-mini is about to open, so it's probably best to not mess with it here. I got a little bit off of that one move. It's okay. It's interesting that my signal has been working, but only for like 1 or 2 ticks. Well, on that one it worked, but it was only 2 ticks. And then what was these ones over here? Oh, those ones were before we opened. There was kind of like that one right there. Was probably one that I should have taken. What were we talking about before that? Oh, I don't know. Seth, you have bought where others already want out. I think in this kind of situation, it's a little bit of a difficult call to make because of the timing, right? Like or just before the E-mini open, there's going to be some Fed speakers later. There's a pretty big number. I mean, it's not like a huge number, but ISM manufacturing PMI, construction spending month over month, ISM manufacturing prices, excuse me. Those are big numbers at the top of the hour. I'm not exactly sure what the reason is for them to push up as strongly as they did in this kind of situation, but I feel like with them trying to move it that strongly, doesn't really matter that some people want out here because these guys that are buying can probably have enough size to buy, more than all of the rest of us combined. It's just the timing of it doesn't make sense. Why are they doing it? So is it all just kind of a trick to push it up and them get filled? I don't know. It's all just kind of a little it's a little different. It's not like I've never seen this kind of action before, but just it's not recently. It's very different today to me. Maybe part of that is because we had a pretty big move down. There might be some people, maybe some money is coming out of the treasury market. That would make things a lot more difficult for us. Now Donald Trump tweeted something. If the so-called whistleblower has all secondhand information, and almost everything he has said about my perfect call with the Ukrainian president is wrong, much to the embarrassment of Pelosi and Schiff.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia. It's October. The crash is coming.
Oh, maybe. Why aren't we entitled to interview and learn everything about the whistleblower and also the person who gave all the false information to him? This is simply about a phone conversation that could never have been nicer, warmer, or better. No pressure at all, as confirmed by the Ukrainian president. Is just another Democrat out. Well, you have to protect whistleblowers, but it also kind of, the way that it's all going through kind of suggests that the whistleblower did it in a way that was malicious. So I don't know what you do about that. I don't know. I don't understand why the president would be trying to push that particular
YouTube Ace Trades at Pedro Garcia. Okay, Chicken Little. Yeah. Lol.
So here's the thing about October. They say October tends to be a bad month. It does. Part of that is a little bit of statistical illusion, because you have one really, really bad October, and that outweighs all of the other normal Octobers that we've had,
YouTube Ace Trades, another short 2,988.00, too close for me.
They're going to sell it on the open. That could be cool. So I'm seeing a lot of offers being added now. They're pulling for something? That often suggests news, but I don't see anything. Oh, wait. Yes. FOMC member
YouTube
Bowman
Pedro
speaks.
Garcia, yeep.
Yeah, so if you have one really bad October, then that kind of can skew the statistics that they're using for that sort of a thing. But there is a tendency to have market sell-offs in October. Like last year, October was pretty ugly, wasn't it? However, the environment that we have going into this October is very, very different. And just as one example that I will give you, we were extremely bracketed last week. We were very, very bracketed last week in the Treasuries. Now we had this move, but this move was basically based off of Japan. So there's a good chance that after ranging around here and finding true value, that we become bracketed again. It appears to me that market volatility is decreasing. So they would probably require more news. It would probably require another set of volatile headlines to start causing like the big October crash. And when everybody's waiting for it, that it makes it too hard to happen. Yeah, always got to be a little suspicious when you hear too many people talking about something. So, like, here's a good example. 95% of day traders lose money. How much have you heard that past 2 or 3 weeks? There was like that news story about traders in Brazil that 95% of them lost money. Graham Stephan posted a video yesterday, 80% traders lose money.
YouTube Ace Trades target 2,982.75.
Okay. Of course, this is always a topic that is talked about in the trading community, but it's particularly popular right now. And the thing that I find weird about it is that they're trying to discourage people from day trading in exactly the kind of environment where day trading has the biggest advantage, right? So when the yield curve inverts or is close to inverted, that means that short-term investments are yielding more than long-term investments. That means that a short-term investment like day trading can be more profitable
YouTube
in this kind of
Pedro
situation.
Garcia, Yeep.
So it's probably just a coincidence, but kind of suspicious to me that they're all telling everybody to not day trade in exactly the kind of time where day trading could maybe be
YouTube
good.
Pedro Garcia, I was thinking the same thing. YouTube Ace Trades, I would say that 100% of traders lose money. No one gets through a trading career without losing money.
Well, sure. They were saying that over the course of a year, 95% of traders were net negative for the year. About half of them lost everything. I think they say that like 75% of traders give up after a year. To me, though, I think that number totally makes sense. So, like, the biggest thing that drives me crazy is they're like, okay, 95. So, like, Graham Stephan's video. I really like Graham. Don't get me wrong. Okay. And he had a good video. But here's his video is like, okay.
YouTube Pedro Garcia, here's the thing if the big guys are trying to get positions in the markets.
Sure.
YouTube Swissio, 90% of people lose 90% of their portfolio in 90 days.
I've never heard that one.
90th rule.
I've never heard that one. Interesting. Well, anyways, here's his video. Is he's like, 80% of day traders lose money. Why? Well, if you look at stocks and you look at like all stocks, 50% of all stocks and the net return that they end up with is you lose everything. Like half of stocks that get listed end up after like 5 years being delisted and going bunk. That's like when you include all of the penny stocks and everything else like that. Here's the open. And so he's going into this and then he's like, and then even when you take the big ones, it's only like 53% of those that are actually positive, and it's only a small number of those that account for the majority of the gains for the index and things like that. And I'm sitting here reading this like, well, there's your problem is you're trading stocks. If you want to day trade, why would you trade stocks? And yet that's what the vast majority of people, that is what the vast majority of people try to do, is day trade stocks. It's like, okay, number one, there's so many more variables that you have to account for. You're going into an instrument, you're going to day trade some instrument that you found on a watch list or something that you know almost nothing about, and you have no ability to price. You don't know how do interest rates, affect this company. How does the price of copper affect this company? To what extent does it do? The specialists, I'm telling you, it calculates this every second. They know exactly based off of the movement of all of the underlying commodities in the market, how that affects that company's business, and they can price it real time. And you want to compete with that? No. Listen, they're totally right. A specialist, as being a specialist on the stock exchange, is basically a license to steal money. Is basic. Why would you day trade stocks? Do futures. Like, minimize your risk. Minimize the number of things that you have to look at. When I look at treasuries, I can look at these treasuries. I have a couple of correlated instruments. I can see the correlations between things, but I know that primarily the treasury market is going to move off of the treasury market. And if I understand the treasury market really, really well, I can know when to invest and when not to, and when to stay out, and all of these other things. Things that it's almost impossible to try and figure out when you're trying to trade stocks. It's just that sort of a thing. So when you go into it, 90% of traders lose money. Well, yeah, because they're all trading stocks. I think that when you go into futures, the numbers get a little bit better, but they're still pretty bad, right? Let's see if I can find that. So I think even with AMP, they've published details before, right? Can't see. I remember there was a Futures IO. Yeah, I use AMP. Did Ace ended up taking it, huh? You want to see it turned down, though, huh? Well, kind of interesting. Not that it matters or anything, but I'm just looking at my chart over here, and I keep this CCI on here to kind of help give me an idea of the way that the trend is going. And that CCI turned bullish very quickly. It must be because of the open volume. Doesn't matter though. Got to wait to see a level 2 spike of some sort. And what are treasuries doing here? They did a zipper. They pushed up 2 ticks and they zippered again. It's like a very, 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 very slow churn up. Maybe it's slowing down and it's going to turn back down. Yes, because of the wicks. Yeah, let's turn the reader back on.
YouTube Ace trades at Pedro Garcia. What direction? What price?
And what was this other thing? Greg was saying everyone I've seen at the prop firms have blown out, and these are bigger accounts. Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you another thing, and you guys can totally interrupt me on this. I'll leave it on for a bit. I think that one of the biggest determiners of whether you're going to be successful day trading or not is the market itself. If you're trading a market that is a favorable market at that time, it's going to be a lot easier to make money. So if we just look at the past 2 or 3 months, I've done pretty well, right? I feel like I've done really well despite all of my own self-sabotage. I think that there's been a couple of situations where I did things that were pretty dumb, and I ended up getting lucky and I came out of it. And I think that the reason that's been happening so much lately is because, look at the chart and look at the open interest. Money is coming into treasuries. And when money is coming into your market, because futures is a zero-sum game, right? So the more money that's coming into your market, the more money there is to divide amongst all of the liquidity providers. So it's easier to make money as a liquidity provider when money is coming into the market. Right, that's going to be the biggest determinant of if you're going to be successful. And so you kind of got to know based on my
YouTube,
instrument.
Pedro Garcia, 2 trades so far, 1 points each. I'm at $150 for the day.
Oh, that's not bad. You're trading that on the E-mini? Doing micro E-mini, in fact? Well, 150
YouTube,
is
Ace
maybe,
trades, good job.
maybe a super, super tiny trade in the ES, though. They're still kind of... They pushed up, but it's super slow, isn't it? And now they
YouTube,
moved
Pedro
down.
Garcia, yeep. YouTube, Pedro Garcia, yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming that Ace
YouTube,
got out of it.
Pedro Garcia, yes. I'm a scalper.
Yeah, but how many ticks do you... What instrument and how many ticks are you taking? Something's going on here.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, I am looking gore 4 to 8.
In
YouTube,
ES?
Pedro Garcia, ticks.
So in ES, if you're getting 4, that's super, super small.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, trade the open and use wick theory.
Okay. There's a pretty big iceberg there that they pushed through at 27. But that's point of control.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, very small. YouTube, Pedro Garcia, small. YouTube, Pedro Garcia, yes S.
Oh, okay. So from my data, the average rotation in ES is 12.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, I use tick symbols.
So if you're taking less than 12, you're definitely scalping. But 4, I would have to know what kind of slippage you actually get on your losers. So if you get some slippage on a loser, then 4 might not be enough. I know that in Treasuries, if I tried doing something like that, I probably
YouTube,
wouldn't
Pedro
work out.
Garcia, yes, I'm a scalper, like I said.
Yes, I'm a scalper, like I said. I kind of want to buy it here. Now, 27.5 is not the right price, though. 27 would have been better. See this over here in the E-mini? In fact, let me click it in.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, don't.
You don't think so?
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, wait for retracement.
Oh, well, I don't like that. I am seeing, though. So, my testing on the E-mini is a little... well, and there you go right there. That was not what we wanted to see. Okay. I'm pretty good with the Treasury. Like I have a pretty good idea of the way that it's supposed to behave and the timing and all that sort of thing. I don't in the E-mini. I'm still learning on the E-mini. So it's very often I will get something and I'm too early to it. Kind of looks to me like with that I was a little bit too early to it, huh? And in fact, they're going down into where I got in and they're not going any further, which is kind of something I've seen before. Can be a
YouTube,
little
Pedro
frustrating.
Garcia, actual, I'm sorry, I don't know your trading style. Sorry for telling you what to do. My bad.
There's no problem. Yeah, you look, I mean, I've been doing this, streaming this for quite some time. I'm quite used to people telling me if a trade is good or bad, and sticking to my own strategy for sure. Some of the best trades that I get are ones where somebody in chat really doesn't think it's a good idea. But like I said, in the E-mini, I'm not incredibly confident. I'm taking this because I do see we're forming a.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, still not right for me to do.
My level 2 is giving me the signal in the E-mini, okay, and the Treasuries turned back up there. That's why I take it. I would have preferred Ace to have said short somewhere
YouTube,
too,
Pedro
but
Garcia, agree. I'm here to learn.
cool. So we'll see if it turns out or not. We'll see. I should be. So two things I got to keep in mind here is there's still some FOMC speakers going on, although I haven't seen anything on Twitter about that. Even though somebody is, Bowman is
YouTube,
speaking right
Pedro
now,
Garcia,
right?
about to go short again. YouTube, Swissio, PRNT,
Okay, let's see what he's got.
SCPDEBZ7.
It'd be a lot easier to post those in the Discord, so.
YouTube, Ace Trades, what trade are you taking?
I took it short. Ah. Oh, good picture. I took it short, but it's not really cooperating right now, is it? I think I'm early.
YouTube, Ace Trades, you took the S short?
Yeah, I took that yeah, short. Took it because I got my level 2 signal and the treasuries were turning back up. Well, now the treasuries, they did turn back up and now they've come back
YouTube,
a tick.
Pedro Garcia, about to short S.
So I don't know. They might just be arranging it. Either way, I was early. Either way, I was early. But if, they could make my price go offer, I would be really happy about that. That would be great. Hmm. I'm noticing that in the main instrument that the level 2 is being pretty thick. Yeah, there you go. There's a big bid there. It's gonna take me out. How much slippage did I get on that? Okay. Oh, not bad. It actually took me out early. Cool. So I think I was early. It still might turn down. Let's wait. See, the way that the Treasury is trading, it makes it look like it's ready to go. Nope, Treasury's not doing it. Whoa. In fact, the Treasuries came back pretty hard there. The liquidity is decreasing now all of a sudden. What's our number there? Final manufacturing PMI. Yes, there was. 51, spot 1 versus an expected 51. Treasuries came down there. Notice that as it came down, there was like no big orders involved in it. Of course, now that so people are reporting that Secretary Pompeo was involved in the Ukraine call, and since he left Donald Trump and is maybe not on good terms, it sounds like the Democrats are going to try and they want to interview him and have him, say mean things about Donald Trump. That's happening. So Treasuries came back there really quickly, but they're also recovering it really easily. And yes, I'm still kind of having a hard time getting a read here. It kind of feels like they're having a hard time getting the volume required to make a new high. Since we do have some stuff at the top of the hour, maybe it's better to just hands off. Man, got really quiet all of a sudden. Like, not even like 5 minutes ago, you guys were like, I had to like mute
YouTube, Swissio, ZN short-term player in the house. It may be short, maybe 0.245.
you. Think so? Oh, I see something. I don't like the timing of this one. Got to be careful about this one. This one looks like they're trying to break the level, like they've kind of been doing an ascending, a triangle here of
Twitch,
sorts.
Dojo 2022, re-Trump. I'm noticing that a lot of the news aggregators like MSN.com have stale NYT articles that are anti-Trump, and when new information comes out that challenges the original narrative, they just don't publish that info.
Yeah. Have you ever seen
YouTube
like?
Ace Trades. Folks, don't
Oh,
forget to
thank you.
like and subscribe. Hit that thumb.
And hit the bell icon. That way, it's a lot easier to find us when we go live in the morning. Yeah, I've noticed. Have you ever noticed that there will be
YouTube
like
Swissio. Okay, have fun. I'm gone.
there will be like a big. Sometimes you'll see big stories come through that have been like regurgitated. Like, oh yeah, this like I've seen a few times where a story would hit and it would actually affect markets, and then I read it and I'm like, no, I saw this headline last week, and then it turns out that yes, it's the same story. I think that I mean who knows, this is like super conspiracy theory territory, but if there's all of these Twitter robots out there, it would make sense that people um, with proximity to media would attempt to manipulate the markets with them, you know? And I mean, the political parties definitely try and manipulate the news cycle. Well, the Treasuries did push up there to a new high. So I was right about that one. Well, we're back up to those levels that Algo Lover was talking about. They might come back off of this, but why did they move up? Why have they moved up the way that they have? They're not really having the
Twitch,
volume
Dojo
support for it.
2022, totally. Dylan Radigan spoke about that. He said when he worked at Bloomberg, they journos would keep old articles and just dust them off, tweak them, change the date, and publish.
Totally. Yeah. They totally do that. It's like it's also like, well, this one didn't catch a lot of traction last time. It didn't really hurt the politician we wanted to hurt. So let's put it out again and maybe this time it'll do it.
YouTube Ace Trades, for what it's worth, short 2992.00 signal. Not super confident.
I don't think we should take this one because of the news in 10 minutes. Something's going on, though. It'd be interesting if we just bust through 130 even in the 10-year. What would be the cause of such a strong move up? But there you got an okay entry at 29.92.
YouTube Ace Trades, well, there is a point.
Yeah. I like everything about it except for the time. Maybe I should have ignored that. Look at them try and tick back up. It doesn't do anything. Oh, what happened to TweetDeck? It died. The dollar is hitting its highest level since May 2017 versus its peers. Oh. Oh. Hold up.
Twitch Dojo 2022, it's as if the bonds overshot last night based on the risk parity paradigm.
Yeah, I wonder why I'm not seeing. So I see a I see a headline from Trading Floor Audio saying U.S. dollar holler. The dollar is hitting its highest level since May 2017 versus its peers. When I go and I look at my chart, while I can see JPY moving down, of
YouTube Ace
course,
Trades, got to breakfast again. Set my stop at break even.
but not super strong, you know? It's like, I don't know. Well, that one right there. So when these move down, that's dollar strength, right? The Brexit thing is definitely having an impact. Although I don't understand the Brexit news at all.
YouTube Pedro Garcia just got short.
I would like to be short the E-mini, but I really 5 minutes into news, no thank you. Maybe we could take a long in Treasuries at some point. But I'm just wondering, okay, interest rates came down because of the Bank of Japan thing, but then does that mean no, that wouldn't mean it. Why would they want to come into dollars at that point? There's some sort of currency counter move that I don't understand, and I think that must be why we've moved up the way that we have. And with the volume that we've traded and the way that we've come to these levels too, that is totally indicative of like correlated instruments, you know? So there's the 92 again. So I guess Ace would have taken the rest of his stuff off right there. I mean, if you wanted to go short in the treasuries, this would be the spot to do it. But let's just see what the news does. It's really curious that we're at this level. You know, if they come stay at this level, and then the Fed's between the Fed speakers and the news and everything, they start pushing down. Actually, really, either way that it goes here, you could get a strong move. I mean, if this comes, then that means this is holding, then they're going to try and push, and the target is way, way down there, and vice versa. If they start getting above here, you'd start getting a real stop run. Maybe you see the overnight move retrace, which would really be something else. We are above the open, so I suppose we could favor longs. Let me make sure I'm on the right screen here. Take it down again, but it's still just fairly balanced. Got about a minute and 15 seconds to go. Lots of people watching today again. So thank you very much. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon, because the bell icon makes it a lot easier to find us in the morning when we go live. We're here every day. Okay, so there's the poll. And let's just double check here the number we're looking for. Okay, so ISM Manufacturing Index, we are looking for a reading of 50.4 versus a previous reading of 49.1. This is a number that you can come a couple of points off of. So, but we had a similar number yesterday, and they went right through it. So, well, we'll put this up. Maybe we'll take a trade here.
Block buy.
Shoot. Somebody knew something. Well, let's see what happened. Holy moly. Okay, so the reading was 47.8.
Pedro Garcia, yes.
Somebody got stopped out big time. And they're tempting me into buying it, but I can't even make any sense of this.
Pedro Garcia, I got
really?
to go.
5,000
YouTube
right there.
Uzi Knesset, Diam. YouTube Pedro Garcia, short.
Oh man, you got to go right when it's getting good. I can't take it.
YouTube Pedro Garcia, not me.
Construction spending month over month was spot 1 versus an expected spot 5. And manufacturing prices was 49.7 versus 50.5. My dog is crying at me. Man. Okay, so I would really want to take a trade, but this is too volatile for me. So I'm going to go and let him out and take a break here, okay?
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, made my money, I'm done for the day, have a good day. YouTube, Pedro Garcia, 2K.
Okay. He says, "Oh, I guess Pedro sat through that news, huh?" Come on. Oh. Yeah. They're clearing it. They would have filled me, but it already went. Oh, actually no, not right here. Not right here. Let's see. There's definitely an iceberg there.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, YAAAY, sitting in a position through an econ, that always works.
Yeah, right? I'm a little concerned for our new friend here. Like, he's probably thinking he's a genius, and that was incredibly irresponsible if that's what he did. I mean, if he already had a lot of profit baked into it, then maybe it's okay. I'm not going to get filled here, am I? I'm being like way too wishy-washy about it. Come on. I can see the sellers coming in. Okay. Well, the E-mini is not happy. Why am I going short, huh? So I'm a little confused just because where did I take that trade? Did I just 16? They did. They sold it there. What the hell? Chinese tariffs going up are hurting our business. Most of the materials are not made in the US and only made in China. It's like I got out and now it's doing the trade that I wanted. But now it's doing something else. And there goes the E-mini just trying to push again. Uh, it's not really cooperating, guys. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad, but I would much rather just see it fall through, you know? I'm surprised, though, that this report is affecting the market as much as it has. Are they overreacting because somebody had a huge position on? I don't know. It's a little weird, isn't it? What? Okay, one more try. Man, the market is fighting me so hard today. What's with that? Look at the E-mini. Okay, I think I finally maybe have got a good position. It's still moving at a really good clip in the treasuries. Interestingly enough, though, it's been high activity through this whole move. Like it kind of decreased down there a little bit when we were down at the low, like 14, and now as they've moved up, it's been furious every step of the way. And there's a big order again that kind of initially encouraged us to get in this. He's moved it up. Hmm, interesting. They're kind of clicking around like they don't really care what the liquidity on the DOM as actually is. Because there was some iceberging there and everything, and then they ticked up and everything reset. Like, okay, it doesn't matter. Maybe it still matters. We'll see. But just the way that it was almost like a complete reset. See that? I'm gonna move that in just in case, but we should be careful. So we're already plowing into a naked point of control. And the high was 25. So a lot of volume up here. Big profit taking at 18.5. Which is probably where I should have been getting out if I was really paying attention. Okay, let's see if they hit it again. Okay, that time they didn't have much trouble with it. Oh, they couldn't hold it though. Whoa. Okay. So if I get 8, that's really good. So we gotta be thinking about taking it off here. E-mini gonna go again? How far can they go in the E-mini? This is really weird. Well, they're still not below yesterday's low. So they could go a lot further in the E-mini. Oh man. Was the economic news really that bad? Also, this room is turning into a furnace. For some reason, my heater is on. Still clicking around a lot here.
YouTube, Wimmer Kevin. Well, last ism was below 50 as well, and this one was even worse.
Hmm. See, it seems like they can take and hold 18.5, but then so far they're not doing the like, okay, let's go bust it. Oh, so my histogram is kind of useless in this area because there's so much activity. But that also kind of suggests to me that
YouTube,
this could
Luis
just keep
Alarid,
going.
ISM manufacturing PMI 47.8, 50.4, 49.1 was 49.1, now 47.8.
They revised some stuff and everything. Yeah, okay. Alligator says two below, so not a fluke. Plus pre PMI was at odds equals a big revision, rather. Um, the the way the DOM is moving suggests to me this could be a trend day. $50 range in 2 legs with the overnight range. Yeah. Can you imagine where we were way back here? Holy crap. That was like a $500 move. 42.9 is the new 50. ISM at PMI above 42.9% over a period of time generally indicates an expansion of the overall economy. Okay, Hu Shishin is zero hedge tweeting. Okay, so not a whole lot has gone through at 19.5 yet. There was some 25 stopped out. Now one person has hit 19.5 again, and they traded down. There you go. I was going to say, come on, guys, don't let that one brave soul that bought the high, don't leave him hanging. Let's bust this. Don't be mean like that. Hmm. And back across 18 relatively quickly. Alligator says short end needs a pause. Okay, back up again pretty easily. Should reset this because I can't even see the 5-year. Wow. Okay, that's it right there. Good deal. So when I put that all together, hold on a second. I have to. Where's the column chooser? There it is. So they're going to continue up again. It could do. I took profits in the right spot though. I wanted the stop run, took it off. Maybe I could have gotten another tick higher, but I put it where everything was going because no way to know. 5,000 contracts going off all at once in one particular spot. I think it's best to take it off there. There we go. So I made $100. Should be happy with that. It sucks that I lost 3 ticks. It sucks that I lost 3 ticks on those cells. I don't know what I was thinking there, but well, I do. I mean, it was. I don't think that it was the right trade, though. In retrospect, the way this is ticking, we could probably take more, but you know, it's close to 8:30, and I caught a good one. It's usually if I keep trading, I'll lose a little bit. So for me, it's probably best to quit here. Um, but I'm happy. Also, I took that last one on live. So yeah, no, I didn't. I shouldn't tell you that. You know what? I ignored. That was all sim, guys. It was all sim. All of those were sim orders. Ignore them. I didn't make. I didn't make anything. Nope. And I didn't. Those earlier ones like this one where I made 1 tick. But see, those were all sim. And then these were all sim too. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about this move? That was a move. That was a recession is really going to happen move. I'm probably falling into I'm probably experiencing the bias that where we tend to care more about um, recent information. So like because this move happened, we think that this move is all that matters, and it may not be the case. I think though that we trend A up. Guys, you gotta see something. That was amazing. The last it's so funny we were talking so here's the other funny thing. What was our friend Pedro? Pedro, if you're watching, what are you doing, dude? What if you had been long? Just I mean, what if the number had been good? You'd be so screwed. Holding it through news. Maybe if you already had a bunch of profit baked in, then sometimes it's okay to hold it, because you can still get out with a profit and everything, and the reward that you can get is totally worth it. When you're playing with the house money, maybe it's okay. Um, but then the other thing is you like it went, and then you took it off, and you're like, yep, okay, I made my money, and man, that was not even like a quarter of the way done. We could have made like 4 times as much. That was How many ticks up was that initial move? I mean, I need to zoom out. Holy shnikes. That was basically a full point move. And it was a pretty big move before the news, too. Also, remember before the news when we were saying, well, it seems like they're buying, but there's news going in, so the timing of all of this seems a little weird, and I'm not sure if there's a really good reason for them to be pushing it up or if it's all a trick. And then that number ended up being just like a big deal. So now you have to go and ask the question we always ask ourselves when we have big moves like this, which is, did they know? It's just kind of, man. Well, yep, I'm glad it took profits where it did. I think I got 20.5, right? Yep, I got 20.5. It was a good trade. And I got in at 15.5. Could have been a little bit better on the downside, but it was moving around a lot. So I feel good. I feel good about that. Well, I'm still a little like, I don't know, like in disbelief. Like I just can't believe that we moved that much.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, nice.
Nice, Pedro. Why didn't you hold that? You just hit your target and you got what you wanted. I don't know. But we're concerned for you, Pedro, because you are scalping and you held that through news. Did you hold that through news? Yeah.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, I'm a scalper.
Yeah. But did you hold it through the news? Because if you're scalping and hold it through the news, I don't want to tell you how to trade, but
YouTube, Pedro Garcia,
man,
yes.
I shouldn't tell you how to trade, but that concerns me a little bit. What if it had gone the other way? Or what if you just happened, to have opposite signal or something? I'm just saying that was a monster move. But then the other thing is, if you use the order flow, okay, you can get some good signals about where it's gonna stop and turn around, especially when it starts
YouTube,
going
Pedro
quick.
Garcia, the wick.
Told me it
YouTube,
would.
Pedro Garcia told me it would.
I don't know the wick can predict that kind of news or not. Although, looking at the way the treasuries are moving and everything, I'm back into conspiracy theory mode. Did they know? It sure moved like it did. It sure moved what they did. U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo says he is concerned with aspects of House Intelligence Committee's
YouTube,
request.
Pedro Garcia, yes.
With House Intelligence Committee's request in the Ukraine probe. It might help when you give answers to, be like, yes, I did do X
YouTube,
or whatever.
Pedro Garcia,
because
yes.
because you're a little bit delayed, and so I'm not sure what you're responding to. Anyways, So just as an example, though, Pedro, if you had missed that, we took 15 half, which I don't think was the best place to have taken it, but it was okay. So we were 2 ticks off, and then here we took it off at 20 half. So we could have taken 21, but
YouTube, Pedro Garcia. Yes, I held through news.
there you go.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. I'm very happy that you made a lot of money. Scalping into econ is not advisable.
Yeah. So I don't know how experienced you are or what your strategy is or anything like that. So just take it under advisement. I wouldn't recommend holding a position through news unless you already have a lot of profit baked in and you're playing with house money. Then maybe it's okay. Yeah, there's some icebergs at 18 half.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia. I wish I could show you why I took it through news.
Okay, well, so Pedro, if you look in the video description, should see a link to Discord. If you go to Discord and just say something in one of the channels.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia.
Oh, okay.
I did have profit, and if I took the loss, I still would have been ahead 100.
Okay, so maybe you had a lot of house money to play with. Maybe it's okay. But then the second thing of that is, you probably could have held it a lot longer. But I digress. If you go to Discord, send a message so that somebody will give you the permissions. You have to put a message in like one of the channels so that people can click on your name. And that'll give you permissions to post pictures. So then you can do something like, I can just like go like this. Okay, here I did pretty okay, so I can take a picture of that. I press Alt print screen, and I come over here, and I can upload it. I'm not gonna actually post it because I don't think they care, but I don't want to be bragging. I'm totally bragging though. I'll send it to my wife though. Be like, hey, congratulate me. Could have been so much more, but that's the funny thing is, remember I was sitting there and I was like, okay, this is going to be fun to watch afterwards, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I was looking to buy it and then it went, so I didn't click because it went way past my price. And man, what if I had put in a limit order in there? Would I have been able to catch a spot? I don't know. The slippage on that might have been tremendous. I mean, just look at, okay, so where were we? Where were we before this news? At 8 o'clock. Okay, 7:50. So we were around 30 half. Okay, yes, that's right. We were right here. This was like the stop. Okay, so I was looking to buy it at like 31.30, but look at that. They never sold back into that. So if I had bought that, there is a possibility that I might have ended up buying O2. There's no way for me to really know.
Pedro Garcia. I've been trading since 2007.
Oh, really? Wow. You've been trading a long time, Pedro. We have people come in every day. I don't necessarily always pick on people so much like this, but I think the reason why yours stood out to me so much is because, like, we have a guy in here, Ace, who you met earlier, and he's a great trader, and he gives us like specific trades, and they are so good. And he is only looking for 8 ticks on the first trade, and I thought that was really small. And it is, I mean, it's less than the range. It's totally cool. Like, it's a scalping strategy, right? But you're only in some instances taking 4.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia. It will come back into those gap areas.
It could. Only taking 4 really stood out to me. I was like, okay, so here's somebody that really is really taking a small trade in the E-mini. And that's where I'm getting into like, okay.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, yeep.
But now I have to know this. Now, if I wanted to actually trade that way, because I'm still having trouble with the E-mini. I mean, I've made money this month in the E-mini, but I'm still not confident about it. if I was going to take that one, I would need to know the stats. Like, what is the win rate on that, and what is the slippage when you get it, and that sort of a thing. Because, you know, in that sort of a situation, and what's your stop loss? Because if it's like risk 4 to make 4, then you're going to have to win like 60% of the time, probably, depending on if you're trading in the E-minis or the micros, and then what your slippage is. So that's kind of why it interests me. But you could post that information in Discord if you want. Up to you. But everybody there is very much like, prove it. So, you know, if you can post like stats or like, you know, black out the numbers on your statement, I'm sure that people would love to see it. We have a lot of profitable traders, but it's always good to see somebody new and a new way that people are doing things.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, are you open to learning from other people?
So I like to learn. Well, so here's the thing. I like to learn about any kind of market strategy, even if I don't trade it. Even if it's, so like I have my style of trading is very specific to the time that I have to trade and the amount of capital that I have and things like that, right? And so most of the time, when somebody shows me their strategy, I'm not going to trade it because it doesn't match me, you know? But that doesn't mean that there's not edge in it and that there's not things that I learn from hearing about them, right? So I couldn't say that I would totally trade it. I don't know if it fits me well or not. You know, like one difference is probably you're trading the regular E-mini and I'm trading micros. The commission is a little bit different. So taking that small of a trade, that might make a difference in the profitability of it, you know? Those sorts of things. But the first thing is like for me to really want to do it, I have to like see stats. With Ace, he came in the first day, and my recollection is he showed us his statements on his first day, and I was just like, well, this guy is a real deal. Oh, and he lives close, so he's giving us good trades. And, you know, there's some other guys like Algo Lover. Algo Lover won't give me stats, so I'm still a little suspicious about him. But there is, without question, the levels that he gives us are good levels to watch. Okay, we came right up to that 30.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, yeah, I hate micros.
Yeah, I hate micros. Yeah, we came right up to that 30, and just sat there before the news, and I think that was a big part of why we gapped there so bad. You know. He totally had the key decision point right there. Now, the bad news for him was that was like the stop. So like that particular one failed for him. But man, what a move. Okay, well, I feel like I've found some emotional closure off of that. Thank you guys for watching. There's still a lot of people watching, so thank you very much. Try to be open about what I'm doing. So, you know what? I took 3 live trades. 2 of them were losers. 1 of them was a winner, but the winner was so amazing. And yeah, let's not give it back. So probably tomorrow when I take my first trade, I'll probably still take it on sim, but we'll see. I'm not necessarily going to tell you when I'm placing them if they're live or sim. Probably going to go back to sim for a little bit. Because, man. That already, you can just see how it's affected me. So, I need to post the cryptocurrency notes. So I'm going to go do that. See you guys tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. If you haven't checked out our video on technical analysis, I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to argue with you. Comments, if you leave a comment, I will respond to every comment and then respond to my comment. Like the more back and forth we get, the better. I think that those chat, you know, on those videos can be really good resources for people. So, yeah.
YouTube, Pedro Garcia, yeah, I saw it. I will show you all, but I got to go for the day. Time to leave for the day for me.
Okay. Well, I could catch you later. You know, you can just put it in Discord at your leisure. So, I'm out. I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay